Hello, my name's Edgar Colin Williams. This is a video going through the process of my project called AI Customize. In this video, I'll be showing the research, the development, the implementations, and also the improvements I've made throughout this project. In the beginning, I began the research phase. I started to look at all types of technology involving AR and different ways that could be implemented. I started to look at companies such as IKEA and how they've implemented object placement in to create an app that uses user input to decide what they want to buy and include in their living environment. I started to also branch out into other sources of software, such as 3D modeling, to see if I can create my own assets. The point of my project is to create an application that will allow users to customize their living environment. So you can see here that there's sketches and further research of different softwares. To begin, I started on Unity software to create different ways of creating a target platform. And for instance, here you can see an icon. Also, we worked on the UI on the canvas to be able to create that user interface and basically be able to navigate the application. I also worked on the scripting and the coding for the work, and here you can see a script that's controlling the placement icon. Well, finally, while everything was completed, it was time to initiate the build and be able to build it on an Android phone to start the application. Here is a part of where I show you how it runs when open the application through the mobile phone. Here's the menu, and when you click play, you start the application straight away. Now this is the indicator for the placement where you can spawn the objects. As you can see, it does track vertically and horizontally. See, when it scans the room, and from where certain objects are placed, where the walls are, you can spawn items horizontally and vertically. For instance, and here you can see the UI buttons, and for instance, I'm going to try spawn an item, for example, a chair. So once under the placement where it's positioned, you can spawn any item that's available through the UI buttons, and you can spawn them multiple times whenever you want to as well. And I tried adding voice commands. So here I attempted to spawn a cat by saying cat. The voice commands are linked to which buttons are available: chair, TV, cat, and clock. By saying those voice commands, you'll be able to spawn the items, but admittedly it doesn't work all the time. Here I'm going to spawn the TV. If this video had sound, you would hear all the sounds that the cat and the TV were making. They're all included with their own audio source that I implemented, especially with the TV. It has various amounts of videos that will siphon through, which you can go through when you spawn the item as well. I mentioned before that certain items can only be spawned horizontally and vertically. For instance, this clock can only be spawned vertically when it's on a vertical surface like a wall. Again, if it had sound, you'd be able to hear the ticking of the clock. And also this clock, I made it script so that it's always in real time, UK real time. So whenever the clock is spawned, it'll always show the real time that it is in UK time as well. For instance, and going back to how certain items are locked horizontally, for instance, only a cat can be spawned horizontally and a chair, because in normal physics, cats and chairs can't spawn all the way around. I wanted to include many improvements because throughout my project I noticed there was a lot of things that could have been improved on. For example, adding a database where user input would have been greatly enhanced. So instead of being stuck with the decisions of the application, the user would be able to decide which items they'd want through the database, and then the assets would have been procured that way. So a lot of improvements could have been made during that way as well. Thank you. This has been my project, and I've shown all the implementation and research that I've done, and I hope that you'd able to see the vision and the selling point I was going through.